Fear. That insidious force that lurks in the shadows of our minds, whispering doubts and sowing seeds of hesitation. It is the great enemy of progress, the obstacle that stands between us and our true potential. But tonight, my friends, we are going to face fear head-on and emerge victorious. Too often in life, we allow fear to dictate our actions, to hold us back from taking that terrifying step into the unknown. We cling to the familiar, the comfortable, paralyzed by the what-ifs and worst-case scenarios that play like nightmares in our heads. But I'm here to tell you that living in fear is no way to live at all. Greatness does not come from playing it safe. Greatness is forged in the fires of courage, tempered by a willingness to face our fears and take that leap into the void. Every inspiring story, every remarkable achievement, every groundbreaking discovery, they all share one common thread. Someone had the bravery to confront their fears and take that terrifying first step. Just look at the Wright brothers. Can you imagine the fear they must have felt as they prepared to take flight for the first time? The crippling doubt, the voice in their heads saying, "You're going to fail. You're going to plummet to your deaths." But they didn't listen. They tuned out that voice and instead chose to listen to the voice of their dreams, their passion, their burning desire to soar among the clouds. And Rosa Parks? What incredible courage! She demonstrated when she refused to give up her seat on that bus. She knew the risks, she understood the potential consequences, but she took a stand anyway, becoming a catalyst for the civil rights movement and changing the course of history. Or Steve Jobs. Talk about facing fears. This was a man who was fired from the company he founded, who struggled through years of failures and setbacks. But he never gave up. He had a vision, a burning passion, and he was willing to face any fear, any obstacle to make that vision a reality. These icons didn't achieve greatness by playing it safe. They achieved it by taking that terrifying step, by venturing into the great unknown, by confronting their fears with unwavering determination. So I have to ask you, my friends, what is the fear that has been holding you back? What is that terrifying step you need to take to unlock your greatness? Is it the fear of failure? The fear of rejection? The fear of the unknown itself? Whatever it is, I want you to really look it in the eye. Shine a light on that fear and ask yourself, is this serving me? Is this primal, irrational fear really worth sacrificing my dreams, my ambitions, my true purpose on the altar of comfort and complacency? If the answer is no, then it's time to take action. It's time to face that fear and take that first courageous step into your greatness. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. It won't be easy. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. It won't be easy. Facing your fears is one of the most daunting challenges you'll ever undertake. There will be moments when every fiber of your being screams at you to turn back, to retreat to the safety of your comfort zone. Doubt will whisper in your ear, trying to convince you that you're in over your head, that the risk isn't worth it. But in those moments, in the heat of battle against your fears, I want you to remember why you started on this journey in the first place. Remember the spark that ignited the flame of your ambition, the dreams and aspirations that set your soul on fire. Remember the life you want to live, the impact you want to make, the person you know in your heart you were born to become. Because let me tell you, my friends, the rewards that await you on the other side of fear are worth fighting for with every ounce of courage and determination you can muster. Imagine the profound sense of pride and accomplishment you'll feel when you finally conquered that which has held you back for so long. Envision the new horizons that will open up before you, the opportunities and growth that will present themselves when you break free from the shackles of your fears. But perhaps most importantly, think about the ripple effect your bravery will create. When you take that terrifying step, you'll become a beacon of inspiration for those around you. Your courage will be contagious, empowering others to face their own fears, to pursue their own dreams with unwavering tenacity. In that moment, you'll go from being a passenger on the journey of life to being the driver, steering not only your own destiny, but influencing the course of others as well. So yes, the path ahead won't be easy. Facing your fears is a supreme test of mental fortitude, of sheer willpower. But I believe in every one of you. I know you have the strength, the resilience, the indomitable spirit required to emerge victorious in this battle. All you need is the courage to take that first, terrifying step. Which brings me to the most important question of all. Are you ready? Are you prepared to silence the voice of fear and embrace the extraordinary potential that lies within you? Are you willing to take that leap of faith to venture boldly into the great unknown? One courageous step at a time? If the answer is yes, and I sincerely hope it is, then let's make a pact here tonight, a vow to confront our fears without flinching, to stare them down with the same blazing intensity as a wildfire staring down a mighty oak tree. Let's forge an unbreakable alliance. You and I marching together into the fires of courage, emerging on the other side transformed, reborn as the giants we were always destined to become. Because at the end of the day, the only thing we truly have to fear is fear itself. Once we conquer that invisible enemy, once we take that terrifying step across the threshold of the unknown, we will unlock a world of infinite possibilities where our dreams take flight and our potential soars to unprecedented heights. So my friends, my fearless warriors, the time has come to make a choice. Will you shrink back from your fears, allowing them to cast long shadows over your hopes and ambitions? Or will you rise up, drawing strength from the immense power within you, and face those fears without hesitation? The path ahead may be shrouded in darkness and uncertainty, but I promise you, as you take those first faltering steps into the void, the light of courage will illuminate the way, guiding you through the tempest of fear towards the brilliant dawn of achievement and self-actualization. All that remains is to answer the call of your own daring spirit, to muster the bravery that lies within you, yearning to be unleashed, to take that terrifying step across the precipice and into the greatest adventure of all, the adventure of chasing your dreams and realizing your limitless potential. Who's with me? Who will join me in facing their fears, in taking that leap into the great unknown? If you're ready, let me hear you roar. Let's make this evening a defining moment, a rallying cry that shakes the foundations of complacency. Together, we will forge ahead, conquering our fears, unlocking our greatness, and leaving a legacy that blazes like a signal fire across the centuries. The choice is yours, but I implore you, I challenge you, be brave enough to take that terrifying step. The rewards that await you are immeasurable, and the only way to reach them is by walking boldly through the fires of fear. So lead on, my friends. I'll follow you into the heart of courage itself. After all, that's where our true power lies, where our dreams await, where our greatness is finally unleashed upon the world. One fear-defying step at a time, we will rewrite the limits of what's possible. The quest begins tonight. Who's coming with me? Each choice to face your fears is not one to be made lightly, my friends. It requires an unwavering commitment, a steadfast resolve that will be tested time and again on the journey ahead. But do not be deterred, for the path of most resistance is the one that leads to the greatest rewards. Imagine for a moment what could be if you only had the courage to take that terrifying first step. Envision a life free from the shackles of fear, where you wake each morning brimming with passion, pursuing your dreams and ambitions without hesitation. A life where self-doubt and insecurity have no purchase, where you move boldly in the direction of your desires, heedless of the naysayers and doubters who would try to obstruct your path. Can you feel the surge of power that comes with such liberated thinking? The profound sense of control over your own destiny. This is the promise that awaits you when you finally confront your fears and take that leap into the great unknown. But I would be remiss not to acknowledge the harsh truths. The road will not be easy. There will be stumbling blocks and pitfalls aplenty. Moments when the voice of fear grows deafening, trying to convince you to retreat to the safe harbors of comfort and complacency. Doubts will arise, whispering insidiously that you've ventured too far, bitten off more In those dark moments, it is crucial that you remind yourself why you first embarked on this journey. Reconnect with the fierce determination that initially propelled you forward. Fight through the mental battle by arming yourself with the truths about fear that we've discussed, that it is a liar, an illusion designed to keep you small and unfulfilled. Do not be seduced by its false promises of security. True safety and satisfaction can only be found on the other side, where your unbridled potential awaits. I can hear the doubters now, those chronic purveyors of mediocrity. It's all well and good for you up there, spouting this rhetoric of courage, but you don't understand my struggles, my fears, the very real obstacles in my way. Oh, but I do understand them, perhaps better than most. You see, I too was once entombed in the prison of my own fears. Dream after dream lay shattered at my feet as I continually chose the path of least resistance rather than risking it all. My fears were very real, of failure, of rejection, of ridicule and judgment from those around me. And for far too long, I allowed those fears to loom larger than my ambitions. But one fateful day, something inside me shifted. I realized that by avoiding my fears, I wasn't truly living at all. I was merely existing, drifting rudderless through life, never experiencing the thrill of chasing my goals or the profound fulfillment of realizing my potential. It was a half-life, and I deserve better than that. We all do. So I made the decision, right then and there, to start taking those terrifying little steps, one at a time. Were there setbacks and stumbles? You better believe it. Did fear still try to worm its way back into my mind? Every single day. But I persisted, gritting my teeth and staying the course, gaining confidence with each obstacle I hurdled. And you know what? That decision to face my fears changed my life forever. Opportunities emerged that I had never conceived of. Doors swung open, revealing new vistas of possibility. I grew as a person, developing mental toughness and resilience that could only be forged in the fires of pushing through fear and self-doubt. Most importantly, I finally felt alive in a way I never had before. That gnawing sense of unrealized potential began to dissipate as I stepped more fully into my power and authentic self. There was joy, pride, a sense of self-actualization that mere words cannot convey. So to those who say they cannot take that terrifying leap because their fears are too great, I say this: I see you. I was once you, paralyzed, gripped by terrors both rationally and irrationally blown out of proportion. But I found my way step by courageous step. And if this unlikely son of fear could do it, then so can you. The path, though arduous, can be walked by anyone with the resolve to keep placing one foot in front of the other. The key is momentum, my friends. Every journey begins with a single stride, as cliche as that may sound. But it's the truth. Once you take that first, terrifying step across the threshold of the unknown, you'll be amazed how swiftly the momentum builds. Each subsequent step becomes more emboldened than the last. The fears that once loomed like omnipotent monoliths now shrinky in the rearview mirror as your confidence grows. So start small if you must. Identify your most accessible fear, that approachable first step into your greatness, and take it. Don't overthink it. Don't let logic or trepidation dissuade you. Just move. Put one foot in front of the other, and watch what unfolds. From that tiny, almost insignificant beginning, entire worlds await you. The avalanche of liberation and self-actualization that follows will gather unstoppable force. You'll be amazed at your own capacity for bravery, inspired by the fierce warrior residing within your soul. As the fears fall away one by one, you'll rediscover the radiant, fearless authenticity that is your birthright. The masks of people-pleasing and apprehension will disintegrate as you boldly show the world the incandescent spirit you were born to be. Unapologetic in your ambition, undaunted by criticism or opposition, existing in joyful pursuit of your wildest dreams. That is the prize that awaits anyone brave enough to take those first terrifying steps into uncertainty, a life of profound freedom, of self-determination, and the unfettered ability to create the reality you truly desire. So I put the choice to you again. Who will step forward into this new existence? Who will be brave enough to start dismantling the dated construct of fear that has held them back for far too long? Who will join me in saying no more to the shackles of self-doubt and unleash the giant that stirs inside? If your answer is a resounding "I will," then prepare yourselves, my friends. Prepare to be tried by fire and reforged into the beacons of courage you were born to be. The path will be arduous, the demons relentless in their attempts to turn you back. But I make you this vow: I will walk beside you every step of the way, fortifying your resolve when it wavers, cheering your every hard-won victory over fear. And in those moments of supreme struggle, when you find yourself teetering on the edge of surrender, I will remind you of the brilliant new existence that awaits on the other side, of the unbridled passion, the unshackled spirit, the profound fulfillment that can only be tasted by those who ultimately choose courage over complacency. So Kataz Bedzidilnim, who among you will step forward into your greatness? The path begins tonight with a single terrifying stride. Though the way is shrouded in darkness, have faith that with every subsequent step, the shadows will part and the brilliant light of your uncompromised potential will blaze through. If you're ready, if you're willing to be unmistakable about the person you were born to become, join me now. Join me in taking that first step across the precipice and into a whole new existence where fear takes a backseat to courage, where the only barrier to your dreams is your willingness to walk boldly through your doubts, hurdle your insecurities, and charge defiantly towards the life of legendary accomplishment and self-actualization that awaits you. The time is now, my friends. No more allowing fear to cast its shadow over your magnificence. No more watching from the sidelines as others take the terrifying leaps you've been avoiding. Tonight, we all become giants. Tonight, we slay our demons and stride forth as masters of our own destinies and architects of our wildest dreams. Tonight, we take that first terrifying step into what's possible. Who's coming with me? Let's start rewriting our futures right here, right now. The choice to boldly confront your fears is one of the most powerful, life-altering decisions you can make. It separates the dreamers from those who tenaciously bring their visions into reality, the talking from the doing, the faint of heart from the fearless giants who walk among us. I know the gravity of what I'm asking you to consider here tonight. To step defiantly across that stark divide, leaving behind the shrunken existence of complacency and comfort. To forsake the safe harbors of mediocrity, where so many have dropped anchor, resigning themselves to lives of quiet desperation and unfulfilled potential. No, the path I invite you to join me on is something different entirely. It is the road less traveled, replete with obstacles and hardships that will test you to your core. There will be times when the way forward feels obscured by the thick fog of doubt and overwhelming challenge. Moments when you'll be tempted? No, urged by that incessant voice of fear to turn around and retreat to the relative safety you've known before. But I implore you, in those hours of bleakest darkness, to call forth your fiercest reserve of courage and resilience. Dig deep and remind yourself why you first ventured into the great unknown in pursuit of your unbridled dreams. Remember the profound disgust you once felt at the thought of living a circumscribed life, allowing your fears to rob you of the grandest experiences and achievements you were born to taste. Because that is ultimately what's at stake here. Your one shot at an extraordinary, purposeful existence, an all too brief window during which you have the chance to shed every last constraint, to unleash the juggernaut of your potential and change your corner of the world forever through sheer force of ambition and bravery. Will the road ahead be difficult? You're damn right it will. The path of most resistance is fraught with peril, lined with menacing gatekeepers determined to turn you back before you can fully realize your greatness. Chief among them is that ever-mocking voice of fear, working relentlessly to convince you that you've bitten off more than you can chew, that the risk is too great, that it's not too late to play it safe. To that voice, I say only this: you do not have the final say over this person's destiny. That decision belongs to the indomitable spirit within them, the part that burns with the fire of ambition and irrepressible will, the part that recognizes adversity and fear as mere mile markers on the greater journey towards lasting fulfillment and self-actualization. So yes, by all means, scream your litanies of worst-case scenarios and dissuasion. Raise every objection and impediment you can conceive. You will not be ignored. Fear not entirely. For as any battled, hardened warrior will tell you, to do so would be sheer folly, blinding ourselves to the very real risks and sacrifices that must be accepted as part of this quest. No, we will not dismiss or deny you, fear. Your presence is understood, even begrudgingly respected, as the ultimate test of our mettle as human beings. But rest assured, you will not have the final word in dictating the boundaries of our accomplishments and growth. That privilege belongs to the fierce, fearless soul willing to press onwards, even when you try mightily to convince them that enough is enough. Make no mistake, those of you who join me tonight in taking those first terrifying steps into the unknown, you will face the opposition of fear again and again. It will throw every obstacle, every disheartening setback in your path in a desperate bid to stall your momentum. Your skills, fortitude, and commitment will be tested and tried by fire. There is no certitude awaiting you, no safe passage to realizing your ambitions. Only the all-consuming forge of struggle from which champions are born. You must burn with a blaze far brighter than any previous cozy campfire of comfort. Because on this path, nothing is given. Everything worth having must be willed into existence through heroic persistence and the stubborn refusal to let setbacks, no matter how demoralizing, negate your progress. It will be arduous. It will be agonizing at times. You will know nights when your bones ache with weariness and frustration, when the siren call of giving up and embracing the easier path beckon to you with haunting charm. I cannot promise that you won't falter, that there won't be moments when you damn near lose your nerve and resolve. What I tell you is this: if you have the courage to keep placing one foot in front of the other into that void of uncertainty, no matter how glacially slow your pace, the path will eventually part before you. Little by little, through sheer refusal to surrender your advance, you will make headway. The shadows will recede as your inner fire illuminates the way ahead. And with each hard-won footstep forward, the fears that loom so large will diminish in your rear view. The voice that mocked you and tried to convince you of your inevitable failure will grow muted. You'll realize that by taking action, any action, no matter how small, you've begun to drain its power over you. For fear, you see, has no dominion over the defiant and persistent. It rules only the realm of the inactive, those who lend it strength by believing its lies and allowing its deceptions to dictate their reality. But to take one single-minded stride in the direction of your ambitions is to reject its oppressive thrall, no matter how momentarily. To be clear, you will confront fear again, and again, and again after that. It will not be vanquished entirely, at least not at first. This process of breaking free from its shackles and achieving your ultimate potential is not a battle to be decisively won, but an ongoing campaign requiring constant vigilance. But here's the beautiful revelation that will dawn on you bit by bit. The more ground you reclaim through sheer momentum in defiance of fear's nefarious attempts to sideline you, the less formidable it becomes. Step after courageous step, you will amass the most potent elixir against its corrosive persuasions, mounting evidence that you possess the grit and resilience to continue fighting through hell itself in pursuit of your dreams. With each obstacle clawed past, your confidence transcends the mere intellectual appreciation that you can keep pressing on and ascends into the realm of bodily knowing, a visceral awareness seared into the very marrow of your soul that you have within you, the power to face any fear, hurdle any barrier, and emerge ever closer to realizing your grandest vision. This metamorphosis from doubter into unstoppable force is never complete, for fear is life's perpetual sparring partner. But the more you engage it through the simple act of forward movement, the more you deprive it of the psychological footholds it covets within you. Like a virus starved of a viable host, the effects of fear on your psyche and ambition become more manageable. Eventually, and this is the great triumph awaiting anyone willing to take those first terrifying steps into uncertainty. You reach a state of relative imperviousness to the onslaught of fear. It no longer has the ability to freeze you in place or dissuade you from your rescue. Instead, you don the impermeable armor of self-belief forged through repeated forays into the heart of courage. We come to intimately know that fear is a wayfaring companion for certain, but ultimately a noisy irrelevance that need not be obeyed or allowed to govern your boundless potential. From that place of inner steadfastness, you become unstoppable. Obstacles, resistance, naysayers, they no longer move the needle of your determination. What once could have cowed you into surrender becomes little more than kittens, to be navigated with the unflinching defiance born of one who has stared down far fiercer demons. You stride forth boldly, no longer hindered by second guessing or the paralysis of apprehension. Doubt and insecurity become ephemeral things, short-lived phantoms that hold no lasting purchase over your commanding spirit. You radiate an unshakable confidence not derived from bravado or ego, but from the battle-scarred truth that you have what it takes to make things happen, regardless of the odds or opposition. And in those moments of sweet hard-won triumph, be it the realization of a long-sought goal, the actualization of a vision you refuse to let die in spite of overwhelming resistance, or just the simple knowledge that you persevered through another day of adversity unbroken, you experience the purest elation. It's a feeling that cannot be adequately conveyed in words, this profound validation of the self that comes from continually facing your fears. An overwhelming confluence of pride, empowerment, and a sense of infinite possibility that causes you to stand taller, lets your light shine brighter. Savor that feeling, friends. Chase it down like your life depends on it. For in many ways, the fullest realization of your vast potential as a human being does hinge on your willingness to keep taking those terrifying leaps into the unknown. This is the great path before us. Yes, the road is shrouded and pitted with unseen hazards. Your muscles will burn with fatigue at times. Your heart will know periods of quavering where you'll be tempted to turn back. That insidious hiss of fear will work ceaselessly to dissuade you. But know this, you have within you the power to press on, to keep striding ever forward, one indomitable step after another. Believe in yourself, in the blazing potential that first sparked your dream and called you to this hero's journey. Ignore the naysayers and doubters who will try to sap your resolve. This path simply isn't theirs to walk or understand. No, this transcendent ascent into the hallowed ground of realized ambition and growth can only be undertaken by the brave. The few willing to turn their backs on lives of restrained mediocrity in order to seize their destiny with both hands. So I ask you one final time, who among you has the courage to take that first terrifying step with me into the heart of greatness? Who is willing to take up arms against their own fears and doubts, to move boldly and relentlessly towards the fullness of their wildest aspirations? If that person is you, then I welcome you on this quest to achieve the impossible. Come, join ranks with your fellow intrepid souls, and let today mark the beginning of your ascension into undreamed of realms of accomplishment and self-actualization. The path will be arduous, but the vistas of realized ambition that await are beyond breathtaking. Your slate will be wiped clean, unburdened by the weight of unrealized dreams or the lingering specter of what if. You will march forth into each new day galvanized, unstoppable, brimming with the primal ferocity of a true world conqueror. So let this moment be your catalyst, your line indelibly drawn between the diminished existence of self-imposed limitation and the boundless frontier of your wildest aspirations. No more settling for a shadow life when the glory of realized potential awaits you. All that remains is to move forward, one terrifying step after another, until fear has been vanquished as your master and you stand triumphant, blazing like a supernova in testament to the inextinguishable power of courage over complacency. The choice is yours, my friends: safety or immortality, resignation or the ascension into your ultimate becoming, freedom or continued bondage to the shackles of doubt and apprehension. I've made my choice long ago, and my path is clear. I hope you'll join me on this quest towards our grandest selves, our most profound realization, for victory favors the bravest among us, those with the heroic spirits to take that first terrifying step into the unknown, and the fortitude to keep placing one defiant foot in front of the other until fear itself surrenders to their indomitable willpower. Are you ready to blaze your own trail into the great expanses of what's possible? Because I was born to take this journey. I'm moving onward with or without you. But I have to ask one last time, who would have my back as we venture boldly into the unexplored frontiers of our boundless potential? Who is coming with me?